What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In today's video, we're hopping into The Flash issue number 10 and 11. Part of this story is gonna deal with absolute power, but for the Flash family, there's a lot more going on here, specifically with Wally West. To break down really what's been happening, there are these very powerful beings known as the Archangels. They have been manipulating everything. They have been gathering the rogue gallery of the Flash. They have been using them against the Flash. But he has been completely unaware of all of this, drifting through dimensional planes. Wally West has found himself in a garden, and in this garden, he is surrounded by the things that he loves. But he has slowly begun to forget exactly who these people are, what they mean to him. Down on Earth, the entirety of the Flash family, outside of one or two individuals, have been captured by this individual named Pilgrim. And Professor Pilgrim, he happens to be the youngest son of Wally West, the future version of him. He was helping Amanda Waller round up all the speedsters because he believes that the speedsters are the cause to all the problems currently going on. And so on top of all of this, in this issue, Amanda Waller is starting to try and round up the superheroes. The Flash was the first one she went after. So make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so we're picking up with Wally West. He has spent quite a bit of time inside of this garden, and being in this garden, he has forgotten about the people that he loves. In fact, Wally West is being wiped clean. No memory, no nothing. He is what they call the Prime Conduit. As the Archangels descend down to him, Wally wants to know what is going on and what this is all about. The Archangels tell him that this is all about time. This is where we pick up with Barry Allen. Barry is currently going toe-to-toe with what seems to be Batman. At least this individual is trying to pretend to be Batman, but Barry's not buying it. He knows that Batman scrapped the Justice Bunker quite a bit ago. He scrapped it because Batman tried to use it already. Batman knew that the Justice League would know how to take it down even quicker the next time, and so it was put in the back of the closet because there was no use for it. Whoever's piloting this thing doesn't seem to understand this. And so Barry runs circles around this guy. He's trying to say that he's a friend, trying to say that he doesn't want this to resort to any kind of unnecessary violence. But the only thing the Flash knows is that this guy is a fraud, and this guy is Green Arrow. Using the Justice Bunker, he was sent in by Amanda Waller to try and take down Barry Allen. Amanda Waller knows that Barry is one of the biggest threats. Next to Superman, he is in the top 3 of individuals that need to be taken off the board immediately. This is what takes us to Professor Pilgrim. They're going over the numbers. They've done it 1,001 times. They've tracked this all the way back to the source wall. There is no doubt about it, this information came from the Archangels. The Archangels being myth-dimensional uber beings. Professor Pilgrim can't figure out why they would lie about this. But even if they did, the data doesn't lie. Speedsters are responsible for the impending destruction of the multiverse. This is when Jai tries to look at it from a different perspective. Something that his father had always told him, that everything is a matter of perspective. So maybe the numbers are right, but only because reality is wrong. As we pick up with Green Arrow and Barry Allen. As the two face off with one another, Arrow's trying to throw everything he can at him, but it's simply not enough. Telling the Flash that she's listening, that Amanda Waller is listening. He doesn't want to give any names, but he does write it on the ground. He writes it so that Amanda Waller can't see it, but that Barry knows this is a friend. But Barry's not having any of it. As he tries to get out of here, he blasts out of here. In a Hail Mary ditch, we see Green Arrow shoot a harpoon, piercing Barry's shoulder. He is able to grab hold of him, but this is where Barry drags him. As the Flash moves as quick as he does, we see him pick up at the server farm, the one that is really dictating everything going on, communications with Amanda Waller, everything else in between. And Barry unloads him directly on that server farm, with Green Arrow getting up saying that he didn't want it to come to this. He shoots him and takes away the Speed Force. Taking us back over to Jai, he says that the Archangels lied, that the data is right, but only because someone twisted reality, almost like folding a page of math on the wrong number to solve the problems. That this disturbance is coming from higher up, as high as it possibly goes. Whatever is causing the Speed Force to spasm, it's not speedsters, but people are trying to blame it on speedsters. What he is saying is that God is having a seizure. The Speed Force has gone loopy, and reality is falling apart. Somebody is trying to pin this on Wally West. Now, Jai isn't even gonna lie straight out, he isn't even beginning to understand what his powers are and what it means to be a shaper. But someone's been messing with reality, and he believes that he can straighten out the folds to make the math really look correct. And it's gonna take some time, but they're gonna figure out why the Archangels lied, why they're so keen on taking speedsters off the board. As we pick up with Barry Allen, right now he is getting thrown around by Green Arrow, currently disconnected from the Speed Force, unable to tap into his powers and abilities. Green Arrow is telling him to stay down, but Barry can feel the tingle in the air. He knows what is about to come. This is where we have the arrival of Professor Pilgrim and every single member of the Flash family. As they come in, throw some explosives onto the Justice Buster. Before Green Arrow even knows what's going on, his suit begins to explode, ejecting and taking off. Barry says to let him go, that he believes his heart is in the right place, whoever he is. And this is letting Amanda Waller know that she needs to take some more drastic measures if she's gonna take down the heroes of this world. This is where she gets the idea to implement the Amazos 2.0. Now, hopping back over to Wally West, the Archangels are letting him know that he is the linchpin to all of their plans, that they have waited so long for him. Now that his memory is gone, all the strings of existence and love that distracted him erased, dissolved by the lonely gallery, this gift that they have given to him. Finally, he is perfect. An empty vessel, unsullied conduit. They are gonna show him what the Speed Force is. And once he has witnessed the horror that it causes, when he understands that this multiverse could easily be a place of perfection, one without pain or death or suffering, they will then draw into him the divine weapon. Wally West will be the syringe, and the Council of Thorns, they will be the poison. They will use Wally West as a conduit that links them to a higher power, to send him past the edge of infinity, and to finally murder time itself. And this is what takes us into issue number 11. Wally West is still with the Archangels. They talk to him, telling him to consider the sacred mysteries of the cosmos, that our reality is an endless river of influence, percussing downwards from the cataracts of complexity. And what you find deep in this is an unbroken waveform, a divine ripple. This ripple linking the simple to the extreme. So profound is this link, this sacred conduit, that if one could reverse its flow, what mischief might the humblest make upon the highest? Wally West is empty. By their actions, they have hollowed him out, but they have learned so much about the shell that remains. He is a being of motive. He depends on a certain faith to guide his directions, but it is time that he finally understands the machinery of everything so that Wally West can be the one to fix it. This is where we have the arrival of the Stillness. They have come confronting the Archangels. While this is happening, Barry is talking to all of the Flash family. Right now, they're trying to figure out what the heck is going on with the Speed Force. And most of all, where is Wally West? With the Archangels, they're saying that the Stillness are trying to provoke them as they knew they would. They believe that if they threaten Wally West, they will get what they want. And what they want is peace. The Stillness were among the first to harness what is referred to as the deep change, back when creation was young. In the Archangel's hunger to create, they helped the Stillness become immortals. They let these eternal explorers show what they had learned. Showing Wally West what they learned is that wonder is fleeting, beauty, creation, order, these are all brief. What endures is always horror, pain, war, the convulsions of an indifferent multiverse. On a quadrillion worlds, everyone suffers alike. They came to see that the weapon of torture was always change. In every death, in every disaster, a transition. One condition becomes another. And so they tried to armor themselves against this. They became still. They became the Stillness. Yet the atrocities whirled onward around them. The answer to all their problems was time. Time was the abomination. The Archangels saying that it took them rather longer than them to diagnose, but they both agreed on the cause. They differ on a remedy. The Stillness believes the solution is to end their own lives, while the Archangels, they believe that the answer is to kill time, that everything would be in order, reality would be simplified without time existing. But the Archangels are now willing to give the Stillness the death that they wish for, but they must make Wally West run. Accepting these terms, the Stillness tell Wally West that they are bored. Their intention is to visit their homeworld and commit random acts of genocide, that there is no way Wally can catch them. Now, Wally doesn't know what's going on, but he knows a threat when he hears it. Trying to hold on to the briefest of memories he has, he charges at them. Now, Barry and everybody else, they're trying to figure out what's happening. They know that their powers have been glitchy, that there have been dimensional disasters all over the place, that the Speed Force is in spasm. But it's not just the Speed Force. Time travelers, cosmic elements, all of this, the Still Force, all of this is on a spectrum, with Jai stepping in and telling them that it's not necessarily a spectrum or a line, it's more like an ocean, that it's all connected. All of these boundaries, force walls, light barriers, the Sage Force, the Strength Force, he's been tinkering with it. He thinks that it's all part of something bigger. Also, Irie has something else. Basically, super speed in a pot. It didn't come from the Speed Force. It's just concentrated from the normal world. Almost like it's just there, all around them all the time. With the Archangels telling Wally West the secret, why they are using him. It is because of the deep change. Professor Pilgrim going on to say that he can't really say much, temporal paradoxes and all that, but what he believes his brilliant siblings are trying to say is that these cosmic powers are all expressions of a universal constant, something that is always there, something that speaks to the fundamental dynamic change. He is saying that all the Speed Force, all the forces, they are all made up of time. Time comes from the deep change. Max Mercury chiming in about that vision he had so long ago about the buffalo. He saw that this was a creature in distress, hunted at bay, wrecked with pain, the thing that they call the Speed Force. He thinks whatever its source, it's alive. And the Archangels confirm this, that the deep change is a being outside everything, that there's no point in trying to imagine it. You couldn't. Instead, picture a brute beast, like a buffalo, the warmth of its body, the drip of its sweat and blood onto the snow of cold reality. Merely by existing, the beast compels the snow to melt, to alter the world below. In this manner does the deep change exert its influence from beyond the source wall onto these tiny planes. When we imagine this, we imagine it sleeping. While it lives, its dreams flow around them. They feel the cosmos. They cannot escape this. So when the deep change dreams, the dreams are time, and time seeps through the source wall into reality. And the Speed Force, all the forces, are time. So the Speed Force comes from the deep change's dreams. And when it comes to Speedster, speedsters. The Archangels compare them almost to like parasites, reaching through the membranes, deep into the warmth of the deep change, deep into time. They suckle the raw stuff of time, and they convert it, each to their strength by muscle or mind, into the power of change. And the fastest of all of them is Wally West. He is the Kynosure, the clearest conduit between the deep change and the grotesque multiverse. This is why the Archangels needed him. He was imperfect. He was distracted, a leech with obligations that they needed to focus, to clarify his connection, and they have moved heaven and earth to do so, made his family fugitives, turned the world against them. They have overloaded him, split the loyalties of his loved ones, strained him, threatened to break him, gave him a place of peace, of forgetfulness. They stripped him down bare, galvanized agents with promises of power that would never come to be. Of course, referring to the Rogue Gallery. They made him the fastest man alive, and nothing else. When Wally asks, "Why are you doing this to me?" and the Archangel says that a supreme being like the Deep Change, it wouldn't suffer being leeched on if it did not consent to it. You see, the Deep Change gets something in return for the Speed Force being used by speedsters. Time, the Speed Force, the Deep Change. It chose Wally West. It chose all of the speedsters. It chose them for their imperfections, for their complications. The Archangels, they theorize, they believe that just as the speedsters drink the power from time, from the Speed Force, the Deep Change breathes their love. The speedsters are the eyes, the ears, the skin of its fingertips, a sensory organ dangled into the lower spheres to feel its creations, to know its children. But through Wally West, the Archangels have starved it, made it blind. So when they open this conduit back up, when Wally West breaks the bearer of creation itself, the Deep Change, time, will gulp up whatever poison they feed it. Through Wally West, they will kill the source of time. They will bring peace to her creation. The Archangels killing the Stillness because their mission is complete. They have now reached the brink of infinity, the edge of the curved corner. The Archangel says, "Ready, arm, deploy." And from the mind of Wally West, all the multiversal versions of Thawne, the Reverse Flash, are sent into it, sent into time, sent at the Deep Change. A poison meant to kill the Deep Change, to kill time, and end everything. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I think that this is the most extensive explanation of the Speed Force we have ever got. You know, the Speed Force has always been something that just kind of exists. We assume that it just like came from the source wall, that it came from the source, that it's a force in the universe that chooses speedsters on its own accord, which in a sense is true, but there's more to it. So we know that the source wall exists. We know all about it. What we don't know so much about is what is on the other side of that wall. And what we're learning is that one of the things that is on that side, it is what referred to as Deep Change. Some kind of super being that lives outside of everything. We don't know if there's one, if there's many, if there's more of these things. We don't know if there's more powerful beings. We just know that the Deep Change exists there. And that when this Deep Change dreams, the dreams are time. All the Speed Force, all the Strength Force, the Still Force is made up of time. As this seeps into the reality, into the universe of the multiverses, this time, it has some kind of effect on that reality. Sometimes it's faster, sometimes it's slower. But no matter what, the Speed Force, Strength Force, Still Force, all the forces are around them all the time, constantly. That it's capable, it's plausible to reach out and grab it, to harness it. As we learned by Irie showing us the tube with the Speed Force, more or less formula that was derived out of the universe itself. but this is something that only like the archangels actually know how to do. This isn't something that somebody can just randomly do and get Speed Force powers. But more than that, those connected to the Speed Force, the strength, the still, each of those individuals were chosen, and through them, the deep change breathes their love, their admiration, everything about them, the monotony of their lives, their struggles, their hates, their wants, their desires. It feeds on all of this. And an almost symbiotic relationship. For the speedsters to have their capabilities, their powers, the deep change must give it to them. For the deep change to be able to do so, the speedsters must exist. So this is a lot to ponder. It's a lot to think about it. I'm definitely going to be thinking about it the rest of the day. I want to know what you guys think. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? Tell me what's going on in your mind now that you have heard this information. Let me know down in the comments if you would like to get caught up on everything going on with The Flash. Check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's gonna get you completely caught up on everything that is going on with this series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you're unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.